So I've put a piece of scrap paper underneath and just going to squeeze some ink into the tray. It's a bit of a slow process. And get my brayer inked up, and I'm listening for that lovely, ooh, I've got a squeaky brayer. I'm going to listen for that lovely sticky sound. I do want to cover the whole plate. I sort of wish I'd cut my plate and done my background a little differently. So what I may do after this is do exactly that. But for now, I'm going to print with it as it is so that we can see how it will work. And look, you can see that lovely rose design really coming out. I'm going to need to make sure that I ink it thoroughly and carefully to catch all that detail. Now, what makes mono printing onto a background both a joy and not so good is that, remember I said I can only get one print. If I don't get enough ink on my plate because I've rushed, then I can't go back and print again because the plate is too detailed, or at least it's not on the background I've prepared. So I have to get it right first time. And that means being absolutely certain I have enough ink on all of these ridges to print. So here is my background sheet, and of course this time it's going to be different to when I printed last time, because last time I put the paper on the acrylic, but this time I have to put my print on the paper. So I have to line it up really, really carefully. So what I'm doing now is I'm just making sure that all of the polystyrene is fully in contact with my background, and that it's nicely, oh yes, it is very nicely sticky, but I do want all that detail to come through. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a rub. And I'm just going to stick the corners of this sheet down really lightly, because sometimes the masking tape tears and I don't want it to take the surface off the paper. So I'm not going to press the masking tape down on the paper at all. I'm just going to use it to help me keep the sheet steady while I pull the print off. And that will help to stop it all from lifting up. So I have to lift very carefully. Now I don't want to break my plate because I would like to use it again. I'm just hoping that it all... slight problem there. I didn't push the masking tape down hard enough and it's come loose. Not to worry. Thankfully, this ink is so sticky. And there we have our print, our rose print. This was my first print, and I printed onto the backing that I'd created with the spirals, and I really like it. I think what I like about it is that you look at it on different levels, because the rose print is not overtaking the spirals. It's as if you can see the spirals through the rose and the rose through the spirals, which is a really interesting way to look at something, and I really like that. It's just different. I have to look at that one quite carefully and think about what I'm looking at. This is clearer. This one was printed onto a background where I just had little flecks in the red and the gold, where I just used card to create little patterns and just scrape things away. And you've got this lovely sort of flecked effect going through, which I really like as well. I think the plate, because I was using it a second time, I think the plate was slightly better inked this time as well.